For those of you who've been watching the news, I'm sure you've heard about the rally in Richmond and with the Second Amendment and the rights to have guns. So I wanted to talk about a police altercation where I had a gun. So I'm outside of Onyx, right? I was pulling up to the parking lot. It's me and it's this lady I'm with. And while we're pulling up, the cop stops us before we get in the parking lot and flashes light and like, can you show me your license and do you have anything illegal in the car, any drugs, any alcohol, any gun? I'm just like, no, no, no. Um, and why can't we get in the car? Uh, I had been here before. I had never heard of like the cops stopping people at the parking lot, but he's telling me like the owner says, due to recent crime in the area, we're trying to tamp down on that, and we're authorized to search people's cars, or we got express authorization before we let people park here, make sure that they don't have any weapons inside or weapons inside. So um, to make sure they don't have any weapons inside the car. So, um, in my eagerness to get inside the club, like I said, it's late. I got a lady friend with me, and I already told him, no, I don't have any of these things. And he's like, well, can I search the car? I was like, nah, rather that you don't. And, he'd already been looking inside and didn't see anything. And so he's like, can you pop the trunk? I did pop the trunk. I had almost forgot in my haste that I actually have a shotgun in the trunk. So the moment that he popped, oh, sorry, not he, but the other officer looks in the trunk, he finds a shotgun. Then he pulls it out and he yells to other officers, we got a gun. He raises over his head, we got a gun. So it was two black officers that I was dealing with. The one at the window was pretty cool. He was just like, sir, can you please step out the car? And I'm saying, well, what am I getting out of the car for? It's not illegal for me to own a gun, and it's not in the passenger area. He said, well, you just told us you didn't have a gun, and now we found a gun. We need to search the rest of the car. And I'm like, nah, you don't need to search the rest of the car. There's nothing illegal about owning this gun. Now, uh, because he was so cool about it, I was just like, look, man, I'm here. I'm out of town. This is my lady. This is what I do. Can you just explain to me why you're doing this when we just trying to have a good time? And he was like, well, look, it's what I said it was, and you can park over there, it's no problem, but you just can't park in this parking lot due to what the owner told us to do. So I'm like, all right, my bad. I'll keep it moving. We'll just park over there, and things will be that. So everything was supposedly squashed, but the two officers, both of them just happened to be white, who had did a 100-meter dash from across the parking lot to get up here, they had arrived now. So I don't recall saying anything to either one of them. I was talking with the officer to the left. And then one officer's like, nah, he can't park over there. He got to go home. And I'm just like, what? He said, nah, I don't like his attitude. He got to go home. So it was weird to me because by the time he had got there, me and the other officer were like, we were kind of cool and smoothed it out. He was just like, you just got to go park over there. I ain't said nothing to this dude over here. Nothing. So when he hit me with he got to go home, I'm just like, for what? So he said, well, I don't like your attitude. And then at that point, I was just like, well, sir, are you not trained to deal with attitude? You're interrupting my night. I wasn't even talking to you. We were having a good time chopping it up over here. And what are you talking about? You don't like my attitude. You don't know me. And you're interfering with my life. So I don't remember all the other words that I said. I just remember my lady friend was like, shut up and get in the car. So I could hear her saying that, but I was feeling myself and going in my little soapbox and was just like, whatever I was saying, I don't remember. I just remember I slurred a word or two. And she was like, get in the car. She was yelling. And so at that point, I was just like, all right, let me get in the car. You didn't slur the word. And between what's going on with this officer and these two officers, I don't know what the hierarchy is. So I just got in the car and then we left. So lessons from that joint. Number one, if you do have a weapon that you are legally able to carry, you cannot conceal it in compartment areas unless it's a locked compartment or unless you have a carry concealed permit. And if you have a carry concealed permit, you must tell the officer once you're pulled over, hey, I have a permit and here's my gun. I know it sounds very counterintuitive, but you're actually supposed to have your gun in plain sight, which for black people, that doesn't typically work well for us, whether it's legal or not. If you have a gun on your person, sometimes that sets and puts officers on higher alert. For some people, meanwhile, you can march down the streets in Richmond with full assault rifles, and nobody's concerned. So, if you do have a gun, like I said, if you have a permit, you can have it in a lockbox. I'm sorry, you can have it in a lockbox. But if you have a carry concealed permit, you have to tell the officer, I have a permit, here's where the gun is, or you have it in the open area. I know survival is kind of counterintuitive to what the law tells you, but you shouldn't have it hidden under the seat. You shouldn't have it hidden in different places. The only place you can hide it is on your person if you carry concealed or if you're in your own house. Now, as far as what else I could have done right that I did wrong, you got to keep your cool and your composure in these situations. Even though we know in Philando Castile's situation, he was very cool, he was very calm and kind of directing the officer to, hey, here's where my gun is, here's my permit. And for whatever reason, the judge and jury did not side with a conviction for the officer killing him for no reason other than this unrealistic fear that this person who was narrating their movements and doing what they're supposed to do by law killed him. In my situation, clearly the gun wasn't in my hand, it wasn't near me, it was a shotgun in the trunk and the officer had it. However, I can kind of tell from the officers, the other officers who arrived, they weren't really comfortable with me being there. Even though they had no reason, factually speaking, to say that, they just weren't comfortable telling me I need to go home when I could just park over there in a different lot. So, without getting too much deep further, the last thing I want to say to learn is sometimes, fellas, you need to just shut up and listen to your lady. So those are 3 lessons. Maintain your cool. Can't carry a gun and hide it if you're outside of your home. You have to have it open. I know it's counterintuitive to survival. If you have a permit, you have to tell them that you have a gun. And last but not least, man, in these situations, sometimes it's no win. So me arguing with the cop didn't get my point across. It could have potentially got me arrested. And last but not least, aggravating my lady because I'm arguing with the cops because I'm feeling myself in that particular moment. So I don't think that I was wrong for what I was said. It's just that wasn't helping us get through the night or get to the part of the night we were trying to get to. So that's another instance. We're talking 30 before 30. It's your boy D Cam, aka Marcus Aurelius. If you got any questions, hit me in the link below. We'll see you next week.